Morning, everybody. How you all doing? It is the 4th of October, the day after Diddy's sentence. What are we doing? I have no idea. Um, Government shutdown is still going on. I am surprised that the Democrats did not vote and bend and buckle to the establishment, but so far they've held out. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about um, Pete Hegseth, the meeting that he called with all the generals and top military officials to come back to Virginia, and they publicized it. Okay, there have been some retirements since. There will be more. Um, Thomas Berry said and has held that he thinks that by Halloween, things are going to change dramatically. The young lady that won the special election, her name is escaping me right now. I'll do some research when everybody gets on. I get a half a second. They are refusing to have Congress in session, so they do not have to swear her in. She will be potentially the deciding vote on whether the Epstein information comes to light. This is why Johnson sent everybody home so they don't have to take a vote. He's trying to set the stage for his folks, with his folks, so they don't have to be called out publicly. Now, there's only but so long this can happen. There's only but so long they're going to drag it out, but they're going to drag it out for as long as possible. And I was thinking about that too. So, we've been ringing the alarm, bringing people's attention to the fact that you need to be prepared, right? Because we think the way the tea leaves are lining up, as well as the stars, so on and so forth, that this particular administration is going to go for the ultimate power grab. They're going to go and try to literally take over the government, period. There will not be another election. Somehow or another, if there is, he will be on the ballot yet again, even though that's unconstitutional. But won't care. He will win because they will stuff the ballot box. And this is where we're going to go. I thought about that, though. I said, well, if that does not happen, the only other outcome to continue the reign or the goal of not only this administration, but the MAGA movement right now, honestly, is to get us into a war. And I thought about that because Hegseth specifically said during this meeting, if the Secretary of War is in shape, and I thought to myself, we don't have a Secretary of War. That is the secondary title for the Secretary of Defense, not a primary. Now, I don't know anybody whom, once they've achieved a higher level of understanding, is willing to allow themselves to be called or described as their lower level of understanding versus their higher level of understanding. So with this, the lower level understanding is the Secretary of War. The higher level understanding is the Secretary of Defense. It's sort of like if you were a doctor, right? So before you become a doctor, you have to have a bachelor's degree, master's degree before you become a doctor. This is how that works. So how many people would much rather, and I'm talking about a doctor, medicine, somebody saving people's lives. This is the type of doctor I'm talking about. But how many people are willing to walk around and be called or known as just Jimmy, Michelle, David, Anna? You don't want to be Dr. Anna? You don't want to be Dr. Jimmy? You don't want to be... How many people are willing to do that? Some folks are. They're extremely humble. Titles don't mean nothing to them. That's not the name their mama gave them. I get it wholeheartedly. But most folks don't do that. So you're going to purposely want folks to refer to you as your lower level of understanding, that's confusing to me. Okay, so let's move on from that. But when he did that, I was like, is this dude really telling these folks, gear up? Because we about to push the button to start some shit? Because remember, the N word, nuclear. Nuclear. There are two N words, but the word we're thinking about right now is nuclear. Who the fuck does that? Who walks around here saying the N word and the thing that you're thinking about is nuclear? Who does that part? Seriously. Seriously, who does that? Okay, so anyhow, so in the nuclear part, um, or the silo for the nuclear part, you have the Trump administration giving the Hamas until tomorrow, which actually is in a couple hours because they are ahead of us, to decide on their fate, pretty much, right? So he has colluded with Netanyahu to push Hamas to a point where they really don't want to be. They have already agreed to release all the hostages, dead or alive. They said they did that. There's just some other things that they want to negotiate further. Now, is the orange one willing to be a diplomat and presidential, or is he trying to lay his dick down and get a measurement of how long it is or short, and how heavy his balls are or light? Because this would be something that could start a bigger conflict in that area, to be honest with you. So I don't know. I don't know. And it's like investing in the stock market. Uncertainty is not good. Uncertainty is not good at all. People don't like uncertainty. Even if it's bad, just give it to me. So not knowing is a very not good thing. I know what I said. A very not good thing. Yes, it's a very not good thing. And it's concerning. It's concerning not only on the personal level, you know, there's still folks that I know who serve, but on a human level, because no one should lose their life because these idiots want to play unnecessarily. Seriously, because they have no true north, no real understanding of what governance looks like, no real understanding of how intertwined we are, no real understand. Or you know what? They may have the understanding, but they don't care. They have no regard. Let me switch that. They have no regard for how our world is currently set up. They are very much bent on a long gone notion of how things work, how countries should move, and whom really has the power. Rodney says this all the time. Rodney says, man, we have the power. It's not them. They work for us, right? But how do we exercise that? How do we really force that issue? How do we get them to understand that we do have the power when you have the person sitting in the Oval moving, acting, and being allowed currently by SCOTUS to do whatever the hell he wants to do, regardless of the will of the people? That's problematic on a lot of levels. A lot of levels. It's anti-American, for real. We've never had this type of pressure put on the construct of our nation. We've never had this type of pressure. Never. Never had this type of pressure put on the constructs, put on the boundaries of the construct of identity. Never. And the sad part is, this is just the beginning. This cat is the blueprint for the next cat and the next cat and the next cat, and they're going to amplify it because they're going to take what missteps he may have had, and they're going to eliminate them or they're going to correct them. So if the courts are an issue, they will eliminate the courts. That's how it works. If your goal is control, and whatever's in your way of control is in you eliminate, you take it off the board. Y'all played what's that game, Rashi? Monopoly. That's how it works. What's the Battleship? Anything and everything. Hell, you play spades, you play bid whist. You keep them trump cards to eliminate anything that may get in your damn way, right? If you go high, you want all the aces.
I can't say I agree with you, brother. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if I quite agree because we have been dealing with this a lot longer than you think. And it's one of those, you know, how sound goes up and down. Most things like sound and light, there's this frequency to it, up,
Mm-hmm.
down, up, down. And I just think we're in a social, you know, because you're dealing with humans, it's going to be a little slower. We're dealing with animals, human animals. But it's a up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down frequency. And ours has something to do with technological advancement and otherisms and tribalism. And so this what's happening in this nation is actually how the nation was formed. Like
Mm.
what they're doing now is what, like he said, this is what old boy did. The ones who came over here and looked and said this is where they gonna sign the contract to bring all the unsavory Europeans that they didn't want to deal with and keep washing and feeding every day in the filled up prisons of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
They dropped them off here. They dropped them off in Australia, and they don't want to admit it, but some of them went to South Africa. All right, so the European could not find a place no more, and so they in order to make a better Europe, they sent. And then when people found out what was available, they came and they took. So the spirit of building a nation in your ideology, whether the people who are already there on the land want it or not, but this swelling of ideology is exactly how this land went from tribal patches to the idea of the United States of America at all.
Mm.
So if we think they're not trying to just build them a new America, they want to hit the American reset button. But it's a hard one to push down, brother. It's a hard button to reset. You got to hold you know you usually only have to hold the button for what time? Like 10 seconds. Well, they're going to
Mm-hmm.
have to hit this when you are ready to. Man, do you know how long it took to take America? It took more than 10 years to get the tide of ideology to force this to be not a colony, not a free for all, not a colony, but a United States of America thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. That took quite a while. And it's still actually a growing thing because of Guam, Puerto Rico, and you know, all the fucking territories that we hold on with our fingertips. Now, if they want a new one, if they want to rebuild that so that it could be under their ideology, whatever this is, the new one, they're going to have to hold that reset button more than 10, 15, especially with us cantankerous ass American spirits. They're going to have to put the foot on our neck to change this for a very long time, past any presidency. It has to transcend presidency if they want it, because the next guy is not guaranteed to be, like you said, Lee, the carbon copy of Trump. He's
Correct.
gonna finesse it. He's gonna finesse it a little bit. He's gonna spice it up or something. So if they want the new America, and that's what I believe is happening here, an American reset, so that in their opinion we can reestablish fair relationships with other nations. In our opinion, we think they starting shit. But earlier you were saying that they going to have to go to war in order to keep that one thumb down. You have to go to war if you want to keep a hold of your generals.
Hold on,
You
hold
got
on. Hold on. What I said was if they do not actuate a complete takeover of the government, the only other option is for them to take us to war.
okay. So that's okay. I don't, okay, right. Anyway, so what I was saying was we at war. All they have to do is admit to the war behavior we are already engaging in. You don't have to
Hmm.
create no fictitious war. Admit that we doing what we doing with flotillas and all that. Admit we doing food drops here and a bomb drop there. Admit it, and people will understand when when the white dudes stand up and say, "Quit playing. We the Department of War, and I'm not here. I'm not on this team. Please clock me in at 10:18 saying I am not on his team."
You know,
But 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 I understand exactly what he's talking about. This nation has no. How long have you ever thought for us not to have any war like endeavors within our 30 seconds? It was inception on war.
But this is
And
different. But this is different. They've never waged war on American people,
right.
and this is different. And we got to stop like that. You know what? I was talking to my brother before I hopped on here, and I said, social media is the reason why America's done. The competitiveness for likes, hearts, and it individualizes you. When this first started with Project 2025, I heard black folks yelling, "We've been through this before."
No, we ain't.
Saying we're not our ancestors. I'm hearing all of this. They remember the Department of War was what? The Department of Defense. Words matter. When they say we're going to liberate Chicago, we're going to liberate Portland, we're going to liberate Los Angeles, we're going to liberate Memphis. That's what you say to enemy combatants. You've never had a government in your lifetime talk about Americans in that fashion. Never. And the idea is that people are so stuck on this idea that, yo, this is the same. No, it is
No,
not.
it's not.
This is different. You've
mm,
never had Americans, and people are thinking like, yeah, but when we were civil, no, they're not just talking about us. They're talking about anybody who disagrees with them. This is different. When you take 18 states that didn't vote for you and you fund them of billions of dollars, this is different. This is way
Yeah.
different. And the problem is that we're so stuck in this rut that we don't understand that no, you're going to have to fight. You're going to have to fight. And one of the things that's going to hurt a lot of us is you got to kick your dopamine high. I'm telling y'all, in order to survive, people are going to have to get off these platforms because the way that they've learned how we think and how they've been studying us. I was just talking to a brother that was a part of the BCA and Secret Service, and he was talking to me about 17 points that they know based off of social media on our characteristics and trends that Google and other companies are selling. These are the people that was with Trump. They know your mannerisms. They know your habits. They know what you are saying in the text. They know what you're saying via the inbox. They know exactly who you are. They know your weaknesses. They know your kinks. They know everything. That's why the commercials around the country started to change. That's why the movies are starting to change. They know all of this based off of what we've given them. And so it's different. It's really different. When you hear Stephen Miller give that speech in Memphis, talking about they think they're hardcore, we're hardcore. and that you guys are backed up, and you can. He pretty much told the cops in Memphis they can do whatever the F
Yeah, you
they
want to.
want to do.
Yep.
It's open season. I don't see us crying Susanna for the black children in Chicago like we do other places. Where's the outrage that we had for Palestine and all of that other shit for the black kids in Chicago that was marched out in the middle of the night in their underwear, some with no clothes on at all, zip tied. We don't have that type of empathy for each other. So no, this is not the same. And no, it's not going to hit 10 restarts. Matter of fact, what they understand, listen, it was a post that somebody made the other day. You know what the question was? What you like better, sex or Facebook? Because they know by the data, the more you on the book, the less that y'all won't even commingle with each other. So they know exactly how they got you.
When you land, I got something to say before Rashi jumps back in.
But so I'm not jumping in. I'm not jumping in. Keep going, brother. Cook.
No. Rodney shared with me yesterday. So we're talking. He goes, "Hey, bro, I got something to say." So, okay, what's up, man? He says, "Sister comes to me last week. We're just talking, and she goes, "Hey, I want to tell you something." He goes, "What's up?" She said, I want to thank you for what you do at the gathering, because to be honest with you, I don't watch the news. So I come here to stay informed as to what's going on in or around me." And it took him by surprise. If he comes on later, I'll have him rehash it and he can go through it because he can convey the exact feeling. But I told him, I said, "Man, you've said that before. You've said that people have told you that they tune into the show because this is one of the best resources they find to get information." Now, we all know that, right? This is one of the reasons that we are consistent and persistent with giving people good, solid, Rashi, this is the time that you come in, actionable information. That's Rashi's favorite term, right? The actionable information. So we take this thing seriously. We cut it up, chop it up, and present it in a manner that we hope that you feel comfortable with, because it should feel like you're talking amongst friends. That's the reason that we set it up the way we set it up. That's the reason we do the way we do it. Good, bad, or indifferent. There are times, like a couple moments ago when I couldn't remember somebody's damn name. Yeah, but that's real. That's one of it's because it's so much going through our minds. It's so much stuff that we talk about. It's so much that we consume that when we regurgitate, it doesn't always come out pretty. Just like it would if you were sitting with some friends, if you were hanging out on the stoop, if you're not from the East Coast, that's your steps. If you're in the barbershop, if you're getting your hair, washed, curl, pressed, that whole nine, that's the way, the delivery methodology that we chose to do this. So it is not shocking to me that people are not hip to the fact, Brother Barry, that they are going to have to fight. It's not shocking to me. It's saddened, but it's not shocking to me that people are not that people are still regurgitating that same line about, well, this is the same. No, it ain't. This is totally different. This is totally different. I'm in Costco last night and I walked past the barrel of MREs and I was saying to myself, damn, I got one, but I need at least two more. I need at least two more.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I ain't never thought like that.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I had a damn MRE, 1998. That was the last time I had a damn MRE, because they are not good. But I understand, again, looking at the tea leaves, looking at the way the stars are aligning with this fool, that I might need to go back to MREs because I might need to get on the run for real. Because these fools might come looking for me.
They are targets. They're targets.
Because Brother Barry's point, if anyone disagrees with them, you are a target. And I'm telling you now, I ain't afraid to say I disagree with what they're doing. I think they are intentionally tearing at the fabric, the thin fabric, the last few shreds of what holds America together. I think they are intentionally poking, prodding, trying to cut. They got a dull knife right now, but if that mug turned white hot, we all in trouble. Because right now they're hedging. They're hedging. They're trying to figure out where they can go, how far they can go. That's what they're
They
trying to
can go
figure out. That's why.
everywhere. Like
Hmm?
Joy Reid told them, you got it all. You got the Senate, you got
Yes.
the House, you got the presidency, and you got every facet. You own you own the land through private trust. Come on, most of you are filthy rich in your networking and intermingling amongst each other. Come on. What
Hmm.
now literally like the person who's watching the man with the 13 hand in spades like you talked about earlier. Come on. I want to
Yeah.
see how you going to get it's a spectacle to watch when the man got this plan. Okay? So
Yeah,
I
but
want to so if you're going to do it, be ready though. Uh, do you know why we y'all talking about how it's never been turned on the American government? Of the American people. And I
so
want you to know Eisenhower built highways specifically to drive tanks into American communities in case, that behavior that they thought was dangerous in those days, which is like communism, socialism, and whatnot. They were prepared to drive tanks into our communities in order to keep their ideology of what America is intact. And so these are just other pieces of evidence I'm trying to show
I got you.
that we have
So,
some similar to this at least has already happened.
I want to get the Marlins comment. It says they are provoking a violent response from people so they can enact martial law, but people have been too smart. You're absolutely right. We've said that a lot of times on the show. We try to make people aware of that. Like you are 100% right. My concern, honestly, is the midterms. What's going to happen during, before, and or after the midterms? Are the midterms going to be peaceable? Peaceful. Sorry. Are they going to be peaceful? And then afterward, are people going to honor the results of the midterms? Because young folks are souring on the Trump administration. Black folks are souring on the Trump administration. White folks are souring on the Trump administration as a whole. He still has his base. He still got them. But as a whole, folks are recognizing and realizing that they were sold a whole bunch of bullshit. And the question is, how are they going to behave again before, during, and after the midterms? If we make it that far, I am getting comfortable with the idea of sitting next to Rodney in the boat that we may not even have a midterm because they are so scared of what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be a blue wave. I think it's going to be a blue tsunami.
You think they scared of Jeffrey's brother? They scared because he said, "Say it to my
No,
face. Say it to
Jeff,
my goddamn face."
Jeffries ain't coming out. Jeffries knows his spot, and his spot is to stay in the House. But I think they're scared of these other folks that are coming out and are winning. Again, there have been a number of special elections that have occurred throughout our nation. And those special elections thus far have proved fruitful for the Democrats. The gubernatorial race in Virginia, early voting just started. The government shutdown is slowing that process down. Are they not afraid of what those results are going to show? Are they not afraid of what's going to happen in Virginia once Virginia codifies the vote and then says, yo, here you go. Here's another Democratic mayor, I'm sorry, governor, whom then may help push the wind behind in the sails of potentially another Democratic senator and or another Democratic House member or two, which again continues to tip the scales away from the strength that the Republicans have in those chambers. So I think that's the worry that is going on right now. Yeah, yeah. And I said that earlier, Marlon. Thank you. You agree with me. Marlon says Mike Johnson sent Republicans on vacation so they can't swear in the lady from Arizona. She's the 218 vote. Correct. On the Epstein files. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. That's why. And I gotta find her name. So when Thomas and Rashi start going at it again, I'll look up her name real quick. I know I got it written down in
We're
my
not gonna
notes,
be going
but I'm not
at
even
it.
gonna, I ain't,
We're not gonna be
I ain't
going
even
at
gonna
it.
wait for the notes. I'm just gonna
I'll
look at it real
succeed.
quick.
Let me throw my hat in now. Boom, Thomas won. I done already told you, Thomas won.
No, I wasn't talking
I
about.
never ever. Thomas always gonna win.
I wasn't
But
talking
I
about
do want to
like that. I'm
tell
talking about
y'all
having an exchange. That's all I'm saying. Once you all
this
start on the
information
topic,
is
you start
making
going to
it
one. Hmm?
to the classroom. I just want to let y'all know that this whole uncertainty. A child asked me about government shutdowns. So because we
Hmm.
have our little morning time, and we tell where I tell them, like, I give them their black mama speech because some of them mama ain't crazy enough to rub them with the oil and brush the beads down and give them the black mama speech, but I will. And somebody said, "Hey, we ain't gonna even have to come to school soon." I said, "Why you say that?" She said, "The government shut down and schools work for the government." This is the logic they pulling together. They they almost pro Trump because they know in a minute you ain't gonna have to go to school if you don't want to,
Mm.
and stuff like that. I said, "Well, that's an interesting take, and I wish I could tell you that you're wrong, but I don't know. Do you see a reality since we're talking about drastic American social economic changes? Do you see a opt for education, or do you see, uh, are they gonna keep pushing with that $10,000 a year, where you get your $10,000 on your taxes or whatever, and you do whatever, uh, whatever you can educationally with that, and have to pay whatever's on the other end if you can't find, because public schools gonna always be, if the voucher is 10,000, public schools gonna accidentally be 13,000. You know what I'm saying? And private schools gonna be 110,000. You know what I'm saying.
Mm.
So anyway, um, so but so if you don't get that voucher, if something's up with your families or whatever, do you have to go to school? Do you actually have to even go to elementary school? And what will that look like? Well, what will that look like for American children? They are actually paying attention, and they are wondering what's going to happen with them in the next 3 to 5. And they mean immediate. They're not talking about their little brother. They want to know if he's going to make it for them in the next 3 to 4 years, to where they don't have to go to school. And I thought, wow, wow. It just rocked me in my, it poked me in my third eye, as they say, about the mentality, number one, of some of the children I teach, and number two, they might be right. I mean, it didn't sound like it was being fed to them. It sounded like a train of logic. Have you guys had any,
Well, so with AI being as invasive as it is right now, and with the Secretary of Education being who she is right now, Mrs. McMahon, I don't put anything past these jokers, to be honest with you. You know, um, we say, and we still believe wholeheartedly that you need to spend time with the child. Rashi, you push that every week. You need to help them read. You need to help them with their arithmetic, so on and so forth. They say, why do I need to do any of that when I have a smartphone and my smartphone will do it all for me? They say, why do I need to do any of that? Because all I have to do is speak to type, speak to text, chat GPT. That's all they got to do. They ain't got to be thinkers no more. All they got to do is be talkers. And people can talk. They can talk a whole lot. You don't have to be an educated talker. You just have to talk. And in the ecosystem that these folks are creating, hell, it don't matter what you say when you talking. All you got to do is keep talking it. That's like I said what I said because I meant it the way I meant it. All you got to do is keep talking it. You say it enough, somebody gonna believe it. Somebody's going to accept it as gospel. And as soon as they accept it as gospel, you right. You are official. You are a leader of the pack. That's it. Marlon says technology is nothing without input. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But again, there are a lot of smart fools out here. There are a lot of smart fools out here. I said it the way I meant it. You don't have to be the brightest person to come up with an idea. You don't have to be the brightest person to come up with any type of concept.
Lee,
And go ahead.
we are currently shut down though, right?
Yes. Yes.
Right?
The government is shut down.
Okay.
I think the Senate isn't coming back till Tuesday, I believe, in order to take their next vote because they didn't think they were going to be able to wrangle the votes over the weekend, so he pushed it out to Tuesday, trying to give some space. Rand Paul was the only Republican that I saw that voted against the CR or funding the government. There was an independent that voted against it as well. I can't remember. I'll pull that up in a half a second because I was going to get into that later. But now that we own it, we're just talking about it. I'll bring it up. And I'm sorry, the House member that's Adelita. I do not want to massacre this lady's last name, but I'm going to try it.
Oh, come on, use them phonics, baby. Come on.
Grahalava. Yeah, I'm going to say that. Adelita Grahalava.
They said they told me to tell you. They told me to tell you first find the vowels. And then put the consonant in front of the vowel and behind the vowel together. Create a vowel pack. And then once you create your vowel pack, you put your syllables together. And then you that's how you make the word. Come on, baby. We can do it.
Oh, okay.
But let me say this though. The thing about the technology piece, and like I said again, man, I think I brought this up last time we were on. Just go check out. We were already advanced technology wise.
Yes.
Like this is nothing new under the sun. Like we were just talking about before you could remember. This has already existed. This is why the technology from the pyramids is so advanced that they don't understand it. Don't believe that technology is a new thing. It's just that we understood that there's some things that you must do to keep your mind sharp, that you don't want technology to overrun, and you don't want to put yourself in a position where you are a slave to the technology. We are entering into that state. We're entering into a state where we don't talk to each other enough, and we're talking through technology devices. The conversation about do you like sex? No, it was like, do you like sex or social media? People are sexing less because of social media. People are trusting less because of social media. People are socializing less because of social media. And when you sit on these platforms are they're reprogramming you to think the way that they want you to think. Same thing with ChatGPT. I see black folks bragging about using ChatGPT. You are literally feeding them. You are feeding them ways to reconstruct how we think. And that's very important. The other thing that I want to say, especially in the midst of everything that's going on right now, is that it just really boils down to just basic social skills, y'all. Like, we have to get back to it. What we are seeing is unruly, unsociable people who are in charge. Pete Hegseth was a shithead brat from Minnesota, a racist ass white boy. Donald Trump, no different. You go to Stephen Miller, no different. Elon Musk, come on, y'all. Like, just look at this piece and look at who it is really like the revenge of the nerds. They just
Damn.
they just put Biff That's all Trump is. Trump
Fifth
is Biff.
one.
Trump is
Fifth
Biff.
one. Oh man.
Trump
Then
is Biff, right?
who's not Booger? Who's that doing that dude? Who's Ogre? No, what was that? Oh, never mind.
I'm just saying, so you gotta look at what's taking place. Ogre is the Democratic senator out of Pennsylvania. That's Ogre right there.
Oh,
The,
Damn.
you know. So I mean,
I
I'm
said
just
his name too.
I mean, just think about it, man. Y'all take a look at it. You want to know who's Lamar? That's
Fetterman.
that's Speaker Mike Johnson. He's the white Lamar.
Oh, shut up, Cookie.
I'm dead serious. He's Lamar. So when you sit back and you take in what's going on here, it's a travesty. They're willing to shut down the government because they hate the government. And one last piece about that. Keep in mind, the shutdown made him admit openly this week, oh, I'm going to let the architect from Project 2025 have his way. I'm gonna let him cut the rest of these programs that I couldn't do if they didn't shut it down.
What do you mean? You mean the program that he doesn't know anything about? He never heard of? He doesn't
Hey,
want to know anything about?
I mean, this week he admitted that now he knows. So once again, all of those black supporters, all of those white supporters who said, "Oh no, Trump don't know nothing about that. He ain't got nothing to do with any of that." Okay, now we get to see that you all lied. And let's keep this in mind. We need to hold people accountable for being on the wrong side of history. People need to be held accountable. And if we don't hold folks accountable from the smallest level all the way to the highest level, we'll never be able to root out this thing called white supremacy. It's on its last leg. White supremacy is on its last leg. It's on its last leg. It's like that battery in your boombox.
Yeah.
It's just playing so loud right now. But in due time, y'all, it's going to go away. We just have to be prepared for it. And what we have to be careful of is that we don't sit into the other things that's brought us back here. And I want to say this real quick. There's the alphabet group that's been real quiet. But a lot of this funk is about them. They need to step up and talk because a lot of they use them to push a lot of this across the country. Here's your chance to show that you are worthy of the rights that you're fighting for. Stand up and fight with everyone else. Don't take a back seat when it's danger time. Stand up and fight because they're eliminating. I just saw an FBI agent got fired for having LGBTQ flag on his desk last year. He had on his desk last year, not this year, last year, and he was fired. Where is that organization to support that person? See, that's the shit that I'm talking about. Don't wait till black people get something to start saying we got to carry your water. When one of y'all get disrespected, speak up. Y'all talk this shit about patriarchy and white supremacy and all of that. Well, here it go. Now let's see you fight it. You got to fight because we got to fight it. They should be fighting it too. And I'm telling you, they're going to sit back and watch us do all the battling. And once the fight is done and we get these people up out of here, they're going to try to run back to the forefront saying, hey, don't forget about us. Let us get us our pound of silver first because, we're the lowest of the low, which isn't true.
So, Marlon, you are right. We talked about that last week. I believe that Charles Tillman quit the FBI. Again, with the constant pushing of the boundaries of our system, there are going to be great folks who push the eject button. The sad part about that is we got to now be concerned about who's left in the space that they once occupied. Because if it's just a pushover, if it's just a yes person, man or woman, or he, she, it, them, whatever, then we are in just as bad a shape. So we need to be conscious of who is left behind and whom is really standing for the people. And we are all the people. The beautiful thing about the construct of our nation, the fairy tale of it is that we have certain freedoms guaranteed us. The sad part is we have folks now in place that are trying to nullify all of those freedoms slowly but surely. They're eating away at everything and almost everybody. I won't necessarily compare them to Hitler as him as the Hitler in the Third Reich as of yet, but them motherfuckers ain't far behind. They are not far behind. Um, because I really do think that no matter who you are, as long as you pledge allegiance to them, you will be okay. Now, there's certain levels to being okay, but
I
you
was
will
like,
be okay because.
you,
Hmm?
I was going to say, you better tell Byron that, boy.
Well, I will say this: I'm going to stick to my guns by Halloween.
Yeah, I
By
said that earlier. I said
Halloween,
you said it.
I don't miss. I just want y'all to know I don't miss. By Halloween, that's all I'm going to tell you. By Halloween, you're gonna.
But that makes them more dangerous though because they're more desperate, and they're more desperate. They're more careless to do anything and everything. As we've seen, there's a whole lot of fanfare when people got furloughed or laid off or whatever, but you have not heard much about those same people coming back to work.
So
You
here's the
did?
thing. But here's the thing: it makes them more dangerous to an extent, but in the other side of it, it makes them less trustworthy amongst their ranks, because when they start seeing that they're eating their own, when they start seeing how they eat their own, right? Then it's no, this ain't gang the way we think it's gang,
Right.
because if you step out of line, and this is what it is. Trust me, like I said again, this Epstein situation is really the kryptonite. And they just I think the Commerce Secretary stepped his foot in it this week by him
Yes.
talking about Epstein, and him talking about the people visiting Epstein, and him being Epstein's neighbor.
And
And
Epstein being a blackmailer, which the claim is no one's been blackmailed.
okay, and now they want him to shut up, and they're also talking about behind the scenes they want to remove him from his position. So I'm going to say it again. The Epstein thing is the realest thing popping. And you can talk about everything else. It's all a distraction, because if that truth comes out, that puts them collectively. Look, just today, I just posted his spiritual advisor just got just got convicted of sexual assault on a minor. How is everybody around you a pedophile and you're not a pedophile?
What you talking about? Epstein's spiritual advisor
No,
or Trump?
Trump's spiritual advisor.
Oh, well, they say birds of a feather flock together. You know what I'm talking about?
That's
Hey,
how he advised them. That's what it was. He showed them
Listen,
how to do it.
GOP equals guardians of pedos. That's a good one, family. That's a really good one. I'm feeling that.
So,
All
so,
right, so
so that's gonna be the code word then. Anytime you gotta find a way to work the word Epstein in it, if you can do that, then you already know you're gonna get flagged, or somebody gonna be looking, or somebody. That's what you said they coming, right? Lee, you said they
absolutely.
coming. And so what are the words? If you on here on these social platforms, Barry, talking about Epstein this and blah blah blah, they're gonna flag it. They're going to
they
do
coming for you
something
anyway,
with
though.
it.
They come.
Absolutely. There are no words.
They coming for they know. Listen, when they talked about the 17 points and identifying 17 points about you, they understand the 17 points is going to make you complicated to what they want. And once they understand the 17 points was make it complicated, they're already on your head, because they know who's compliant and who's not compliant. They've already identified who's going to be difficult and who's not. And so that's why I think that we have to understand as Black folks, all of this 50-50 conversation, all of this. Listen, y'all, we got to form like Voltron tomorrow. Because if we don't, and we don't put our differences aside, this is the time that we sit in the middle of our town hall and say, you niggas done lost your mind if you doing any black on black violence in this situation. We will let them jail you. Matter of fact, we will call them to get your ass because we can't afford you in this moment. We cannot afford you in this moment. We can't. You can't. If you can't look around and see what's going on, they're using you to come into the community with tanks and flashbang grenades and assault rifles. They're using you. I don't care what your mama did not do. What if your daddy wasn't there? We can't afford you. We cannot afford you at this moment. This is live action, y'all. And we gotta really start talking about a quick attitude, mental adjustment. And there's gonna be some people as a collective that we just can't carry anymore. They're erratic, they're too emotional.
So
They'll
who's
open
gonna
their
judge
positive
which
tonight.
Pookie and which Ray Ray go, Thomas?
What you talking about
It's
judging? I just said if they doing black on black violence, that why we anybody that's out here shooting and killing 20 some odd people, they should go. That ain't a hard judgment. What's the explanation in this climate when you see white folks looking to kill our people and you want to kill our people too? Why are we keeping you around?
because they have been victims of the system, just like we are. They just had a
And
different I'm not.
Rashi,
I'm not
Rashi,
appeasing the
we have
behavior.
to adultize
I'm just
ourselves.
trying to
We have to adultize
humanize.
No. So because you're a victim, we're gonna let you victimize other people in the process when
It
they're
is
looking.
what they have been taught.
So that one is worth the hundreds.
So why are we not using them? If we know they already gonna
How can we,
kill,
Rashi?
just
Part of
turn
the
them on.
reason, part of the reason why we can't use them is because they're unusable. Hold on a second. I gotta drop off. Hold on one second. I gotta
To his
take this phone
point,
call.
if they can't control their emotions, if they can't control their anger, if they don't know or understand what what Dick Vitale used to say. Well, he's not dead, so Dick Vitale says you got to understand situation, time, and score. This is the time, regardless of what you've been through, that you need to understand situation, time, and score. This ain't the time, and this ain't the place. Whatever beef you got amongst yourselves needs to be put to the side in this moment so that we all can make it through. Because if you do not, then what's going to happen is that, as he said, you're giving folks a blank check. You're giving them an excuse to come down MLK Boulevard, because there's an MLK in every city, MLK Boulevard, to do whatever the hell they want to do. And are we going to sacrifice the many for the few? And I agree
So
with
what,
him.
what are we
We
gonna
cannot.
do? Throw Pookie in front of the tank? What are we talking about here?
Yes,
Like,
yes, and that is exactly what we're talking about. So if you know Pookie is off the chain and Pookie is out there doing something that Pookie need not do constantly, and that something, whatever it is the something that they are looking at to give them an excuse, then you need to call Crime Stoppers and report Pookie because Pookie need to
I
go.
don't think y'all understand. The calls have been made. What we're dealing with is systemic poverty and acts of survival. If we
No, I don't think you understand. The calls have not been made because what happens is too often someone tries to save Pookie. Someone's the community, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We have to fear retribution from them more than we fear retribution from Pookie. That's what it
I
is.
don't know.
We
I,
have,
I guess I'm seeing him as that's Bertha's grandson. His mama was a smoker.
and that is the
And
problem.
you know, and it,
And that is the problem.
and you know, Bertha did her best, but
And that's the problem.
he did have the residuals of his mama being a smoker left in his brain chemistry. And it is going to be hard to get him to see the value of a calm American reality where everybody gets to go to work and raise their 2.5 children
Okay,
with the
so
dollar.
Rashi, stop. Here's the question. I understand what you're saying, right? But would you rather it be him or Miss Bertha, Miss Martha, Mr. Eddie, your mama, you, and your son? Who would you rather it be? That's the harsh reality. That's the decision that we have to make. I was talking to a friend of mine just the other day, and we were reminiscing about our youth. There was a young man in our youth that everybody knew kept that thing on him, kept that thing on him. And he used that thing often, often used that thing. Well, eventually the law caught up to him. He did some time. He came out. He's a changed man now, totally changed man. And though he no longer lives in the hood, he's a huge contributor to the activities that we do in the hood, the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Whenever we want to do something, he often pitches in, just comes through, drops some cash, keeps it moving. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to be acknowledged. He don't want his name on people's lips, but he says, "Yo, look, man, we got to keep our hood up. We got to save these young kids because I don't want none of them to be me." You know
And
what I'm
when you come
saying?
from that ilk, you know those who can be saved and who those who can't.
Right,
They're straight out snakes. We know
right.
that from a ghetto aspect of it. We know it's dudes that straight up agents that works with the feds, work with the police, hate their own people. Those
Yep.
are the ones walking around with the switches on right now, shooting up everything. Ain't gonna do no jail time, ain't gonna do anything, willing to tell on everybody. Them folks is no good. And if you continue to allow that to thrive in this moment, you may find out that you got somebody that you're trying to protect, Rashi, that's an FBI agent that is creating the chaos so they can have a reason to come in the hood.
I'm familiar with, okay, when I first started, I had an AmeriCorps job. You know AmeriCorps, brothers?
Yep.
The Vista
Mhm.
program, AmeriCorps. Okay. Mine was an anti-gang community action organization. And so, of course, I wasn't in no damn gang, but I did do payroll. I was the
Hold on,
secretary
hold
that
on,
did
hold
payroll.
on. Rashi, if you don't mind, why is that? Why did you not get involved in any gang related activities? What kept
Um,
you from that life?
I'm a reader. I'm actually weird. I came from California. I came upon some black children and said, "Hi, you guys. It's not gonna work. I'm not urbanized enough. I am an urbanite, and I do believe in, but it's something. I don't know, historical memory or something. I don't know. I just saw how limited the behavior was, and that they just pretty much stood outside all day, jonesing on each other a lot. I mean, I tried. I had a boyfriend who was lightly affiliated, but I just couldn't see the mission statement in the behavior. So I took my retarded ass up in there and went and read me a book or two, and watched me some BET Comedy View, and kept it popping so I could, be some. You wanna be somebody anyway. So I looked to tomorrow. I saw myself as a global traveler. I wanted to leave where I was and make it somewhere, and I didn't think any of those dudes were going to do it. So I just didn't. I didn't, and the girls who liked those dudes didn't like me. So what's the point? I ain't gonna fit in with the pink ladies, and the Sharks didn't like. They was cool. So I don't know. It was not anybody to affiliate with. However, when I did finally get my job with AmeriCorps, I was able to sit in sometime and take minutes on what it looks like to do anti-gang behavior, right? Because that's kind of what we're talking about. If we don't want, if Pookie don't want to get thrown in front of the tank, then he need to figure out how to get along and assimilate into the culture he been tearing up this whole time. All right, how does that happen? And what you mentioned, Lee, was absolutely that. You have good things that happen in the community, and then now Pookie and Ray Ray and Kamisha, they got to come to the event. They got to help create the event. They got to clean up and or help orchestra, or else we like, well, you ain't a member. It has to be something that they can do,
Right.
other than not shoot or not beef or not sell dope or I don't know, but it's a time issue. They have time to thump. They have time to walk the streets. Uh, showing the alternative subculture that is YN is. I think they're YNs now, because I grew up with the term. Uh, Thugs or whatever, and I didn't like it because they was calling each other niggas, and I was like, well, how about urbanites? And now they calling themselves
Rashi,
YNs.
how you gonna change the whole lexicon? Well, I don't like that. Why don't we just call it urbanites? How you
They
gonna try to
urbanite.
change the
I
whole
was
lexicon?
like, location, location, location. If they was in the country, we call them rural rights. Anyway, so but I listened, and they were like, well, what we got to have is a middle ground. We got to find some place to have a party that is not your turf, their turf, or our turf. And so then they would scout the city to find a place where they could have a cookout or whatever. And then they would say no guns. They could say it, but like you say, uh, 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 no, I didn't. I did not like him. He tried to keep my mama. He took all my mama's money, Marlon. Uh, Tried to smoke us out of house and home. Anyway, uh, you have a location where everybody can get together, no guns, and then there's children there. If you see children, look at these people come together, it almost kills that intrinsic tribalism. So it was a lot to watch. It took a lot, and it didn't 100% work because as these men grew older, they didn't keep up with the cross. I call it tribal, but cross gang uh, networks that they were supposed to maintain. That was the work. We still talk to each other when we in our old and gray days to make sure that we haven't built another
Hey,
ar- built
slow down
another
with that great
army.
talk.
You know what I'm talking about. To make sure we haven't built another army of young people ready to kill each other, like you said, Thomas, for a false mission. The mission of destroying a black community instead of building it up. So that was the work, but I can't tell you it's happening. Kansas City is actually fairly calm when it comes to gang activity, but we did host a week long gang truce symposium or summit or whatever the hell you know when you have all the meetings or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So and it went with clergy. We did it with neighborhood businesses because they was tired of getting down behind the counter every time, and so we got enough of the community in that I believe all of our urbanites turned into dope dealers, and then it just moved on from there. Instead of being gang members, they just become dope dealers, and it just was more lucrative, I guess.
But that's not a better move. Shit, you flooding the community with drugs. That's not a better move.
Yeah,
That's just as deadly, if not more deadly, than the damn bullets. Go ahead, Thomas. I'm sorry.
and we're talking about the enemy being at the gate right now.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than some far away mythological enemy at the gate. The enemy's at the gate right now. As a matter of fact, the enemy is saying there is no gang that's going to be able to have a street in Memphis, and that they're going to make sure that they show them who's. Matter of fact, he said, if they think they're more ruthless than us, when someone says that ruthless, that means that there is no rules of engagement. They're willing to do whatever. And what I'm saying to you, Rashi, is how many innocent bystanders got to catch those shells from these military folks who are not set to police? That's not their role.
Yeah,
Their role is to go out and destroy and kill.
yeah. Enemy combatants.
So you're right, Marlon. The enemy's on the porch. So this is one of those times where collectively you can't baby these young men for having putting themselves in grown man positions, because this is a conversation that everybody should be having at the dinner table anyway. That house on the corner that's typically been kicking up the dust with all the shootouts, that house at this moment may end up getting everybody in the community killed. These people, they hopped out of Black Hawks, Rashi, in Chicago.
I saw that
So I don't
in
want to hear shit about
Bronzeville.
saving Pookie and Ray Ray. That
Did you
little
see how
motherfucker
they
had enough
fighted
time at
back,
this point.
Thomas?
No,
Did
no,
you
no.
see
Hear
them
me.
fighting
No, hear
back?
me clearly. Because he knows right and wrong. They know they're wrong. And you don't sacrifice other babies because this baby decided that they were going to do what the fuck they want to do.
Mm.
We're at that position. And why everybody's playing. And this is my whole point. We're the ones playing. Trump them ain't playing. They're doing everything they said they were going to do. Go do some spoken words. Go speak all that other shit to make yourself feel better. But trust me, they'll be out there with that rifle and that gun and them tanks, and they don't give a fuck. They don't care how good you are as a person. If you look like us, you are a target. So what are we going to do? Because we've heard about these moments coming our entire life. Now it's here. What are we going to do? It's okay to romanticize and philosophize about some situations. Now it's here. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people just aren't ready. They aren't. I love all those people that love to be like, yo, I live on the north side. I'm north side. Good. That's good. I'm glad. Now stand up for that motherfucker. Because you're going to have to when them tanks hit. Let's see where your pride is at that point. What you going to do? Something tells me you're going to find yourself out here in the burbs with the rest of us trying to keep your ass safe. Because you ain't got no guns. All you do in the city is party and do all the simple shit. No men in the home, no nothing. And you don't even know how to bust a gun. What you gonna do? This is time for grown conversations. As John Henry Clark said, the African must mature. We're too immature in political situations. This is about to expose our immaturity across the board. So, Rashi, while I love those young men and sisters, and I want them to be well, if I'm looking at the chessboard, if there's pawns I gotta sacrifice because they're out of position and they make it hard for me to strike back, they got to go.
That's real man talk. That's real man talk. Everybody ain't gonna make it to the end. Everybody ain't gonna make it to the end. You cannot save everybody. It's not gonna happen, and that's okay. You know. But uh, going. You know what? Let's go to the other bits, and then we can circle back if need be. Let's start with Diddy. So Diddy faced a maximum of 20 years at sentencing. Prosecutors wanted more than 11 years and a $500,000 fine. Uh, the defense asked for no more than 14 months. The judge came back with a sentence of 50 months and a $500,000 fine. Judge Aaron Subramanian said that a substantial sentence was needed to send a message to abusers and victims alike that exploitation and violence against women is met with real accountability. The court is not assured that if released, these crimes will not be committed again. It's not 20 years, it's 50 months. He's not going to do 50 months. I think he's been incarcerated now for about a year. So I say he'll probably do another 8 to 10 months, and then he'll walk on, come home on the box. I think he also gave him 5 years of supervised probation afterward. So he'll be on probation for like 9, 10 years, whatever. But uh, uh, it's a win because 5 years, I mean, well, 50 months, 4 years and 2 months is a hell of a lot less than 20 years. So that's a hell of a win. Um,
I wonder if he feels that way. I wonder if he can appreciate just the magnitude of trouble he would have been in, say in a Saudi country. He'd be dead. They try to kill
mm,
him if he was an Arab man. You understand? And
yeah.
No, they
so
wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. They fly women from America out all the time and take shit on them. They don't care about all of that. Wait,
And piss on them.
they don't care about that. Go ask these
they
Instagram models
they
what it
shit
costs to
on
go to
them.
Saudi Arabia.
They
Go,
don't repeatedly molest, and well, that is still trafficking because they flew him out. But uh, it's not quite the level of debasement that you get when your whole body becomes somebody else's toy, you know? And so I wish
Ho-
that he would be have to show therapy. Like I don't think probation, like, it's therapy. He needs a therapist so that he can
ho-
get past that desire to debase other people.
Hold on now. When you say the whole body becomes a toy, where are you getting that from? Because remember, Cassie was the one that was calling a lot of these folks back again and
Yeah,
again and again.
yeah,
Now he would
you
sit
get
back and watch.
accustomed. You get
Huh?
accustomed. You get accustomed. You get accustomed after a while of being down in that mindset. But I refuse to believe that a woman who could have options with her reality would be doing that repeatedly unless she was also unwell and a part of that same
So does she need therapy?
circle of it. She indeed needs therapy, and honestly, so do her husband. Her, because he's a part of the system too.
She, her husband trying to get that check. That's why he
Exactly.
told her to go back after Diddy. He was trying to
so,
get paid again.
so I don't think Diddy got a good deal because this is really his first offense. And first offense does matter in this country. And if you think about the time that he served and the amount of money and everything else, I don't think it's a good deal. Now, do I want Diddy to be free? I don't like Diddy. So it's not hard for me not to cry for him. But when I look at the mischaracter of justice and also look at the timing of some of this stuff, as I said again, I felt like Diddy has been used as a prop over and over again to cover up a lot of stuff for Donald Trump. And when you talk about Trump, then you got Diddy, and so it's like the contrast with like this horrific story from this black man is a lot worse. And America, black people included, we love to see Negroes get their accountability stick, get beat them. You should have got that 20 years. And the reality of it is, this was more about domestic violence, and I've never seen a federal domestic violence case. Matter of fact, if Diddy would have got charged on a state level, he probably would have ended up getting more time. So to me, this is another example of over accountability of black men being held to a standard. You have a president that had 34 charges, who's also been convicted of sexual assault. Nobody's saying he needs therapy, counseling, etc. And he's running the country.
I am.
Meanwhile, Diddy has to spend all of this time after being embarrassed, spending a fortune to pay Cassie off. At this point here, he shouldn't have gave a shit. That check should be refundable. If I got to do this time after I cut you that check, I need my money back because it wasn't worth cutting you nothing. Okay. And, your business is gone. You're doing time. Her and her husband is living in luxury. What was the point of cutting that check? So that's just my 2 cents on it. I
Now you cooking
really,
on that one. You
I,
cooking on that one.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, again, I think this came about again because she came at him again. I think he said no, and he pushed her. He being the husband pushed her to then file the charges. They had corroborating stories from other people, and there you go. Um, Prostitution. Remember, he didn't get convicted of the RICO. So this is one where we didn't get your ass on something. But we didn't get you on what we wanted to get you for. But we're gonna get your ass on something. This too is why I say I don't think he's going to do anywhere near 50 months. I think he'll do another 8-10 months, and that'll be it. I would say May, June, somewhere along that line next year. Diddy will be the news will break the Diddy's out. You know what I'm saying? trying to put him on the sidelines for uh, the next election cycle, I think was huge for them to tarnish his image. Because remember, Diddy pretty much fell out of the public light. He was working in the background trying to really move the needle in a different way and leave a different legacy. This is a huge stain on that, obviously, but others have come back from worse. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. I I, I agree with you, Thomas. I don't think this is a good deal. Marlon, I really thought that he was going to catch something, but I didn't think it was going to be like that. When the judge remanded him and said he was going to be held in custody, I knew he was going to catch something at that point. Initially, I was one of those people. I didn't think he was going to catch anything. I thought he was going to walk out just scot free. But when he got convicted of what he got convicted, I was like, okay, well, and they kept him in custody. I was like, yeah, he gonna catch something, son. They trying to prove a point, But again, 50 months is a hell of a lot less than 20 years. So,
but he'll win on appeal,
and they're gonna appeal, huh?
He'll win on appeal. He'll get reduced time on appeal.
Yep.
They gonna run his pocket for another $500,000. He gonna have to pay the government to fight the case, and that's all it's gonna be.
Yeah. He'll win on appeal.
It's the idea, because I got a friend of mine. I want to bring him on the show soon. My boy Michael Greenlaw. They gave him 80 years in with a RICO case, and he fought and he got his time reduced. You just gotta stick into it. And he didn't have no Diddy money. All he had was time in the law library while he was in prison. And so if you fight, you can get reduced time. Because you're convicted of it does not necessarily mean everything that you're convicted of. Because we do that a lot in our community. As soon as somebody's convicted of something, the first thing we say is, oh, see, they proved it. And that's not the case. This was, as Marlon said, this was a grift. And that husband of hers was starting fights on social media with Diddy years before she came out. He would drop things about Diddy. He would say things about Diddy to kind of build up that conversation. But keep in mind, that man was paid as a trainer from Diddy. So this is another former Diddy employee that probably was upset he wasn't a part of the free calls. But with that being said, man, the justice system is not so justice. Let me hop off. I'll be right back, y'all.
Okay. Especially not when it comes to us. But speaking of things and convictions, if we go to Iowa, Ian Andre Roberts, the former head of Des Moines, Iowa public school system, was arrested by ICE. It was found that he possessed 3 guns in his home, a 9mm under the living room cushion, a rifle that was in a bedroom closet, and a shotgun that was in the master bedroom, behind the master bedroom's headboard. Mr. Roberts was convicted of reckless driving and unsafe operation of a motor vehicle and speeding in Maryland in 2012. He was also convicted of possession of a loaded firearm in Pennsylvania in 2022. He was charged, not convicted, of narcotic possession with intent to distribute, narcotics possession, criminal possession of a forgery instrument, possession of a forgery instrument. This was all in 96 in New York. And then 2nd degree, 3rd degree, and 4th degree possession of a firearm as well. That was in 2020. Now, this cat, don't know what popped his ass up on ICE's radar, but he popped up heavy, and they chopped him down. But remember, the latter part of what I read were just charges. That doesn't mean that he was convicted and he was not convicted, because they would have put that in there big time. But he was just charged with those things at various points of his life. Again, don't know what put this man on their radar, but they got him and they took him down big time. So As we said in the
And
beginning of the
I'm
show,
like, when
y'all.
y'all start looking for Guyanans, like, dang, you
Look,
know what I'm saying?
as we said in the beginning of the show, y'all. If they want you, they gonna come get you.
Mm.
If they want you, they gonna come get you, and they're gonna use anything and everything as an excuse to come get you. You know what I'm saying?
Can I point out something too with
Even
that Diddy case real quick?
yeah, go ahead.
This is why I want, because Marlon is saying stuff started happening after he tried to buy the Carolina Panthers, and I know Trump. They say Trump ended up running for president because he was upset that they turned him down to buy the Buffalo Bills. But I want to show y'all the similarity with Diddy's case compared to Trump. Remember, at the beginning of this case, they were talking about pedophilia and sex trafficking minors. Remember, that was supposed to be the big thing. And guess what
Mm-hmm.
else they were talking about that was supposed to be with Diddy as well? Sex tapes. Remember, Diddy was supposed to be blackmailing all of these powerful people, and they were supposed to have these tapes and all of that. We've seen a 2-year trial. Where's the tapes at? Where is
I
the
ain't seen
proof?
them.
Where's the proof of the pedophilia with minors?
I ain't seen them.
Where is the proof of, because they were saying he was prostituting a young girl. They even tried to put a young girl suicide that the boys were dating. Remember, they tried to put that on Diddy. Where is that at in this trial? I
Mm.
just want to keep everybody abreast, because if you listen to a lot of the charges that Diddy was dealt his way, it shows sounds like the Epstein files, don't it? It shows
Mm.
sounds like what was happening on Epstein Island. But Diddy is going to be the one to take it. And I do believe this focus on Diddy takes away from Trump. And I just want everybody to keep in mind, because Trump is also a New Yorker, like Diddy is a New Yorker, and they party together. So I just wanted to point those things out.
Mm. We have one of the listeners say, I don't even know why charges were brought against that man. Uh, he was charged with partying and sexual accommodation. Look, man, you talking again? They tried to RICO the brother, talking about he was moving prostitutes across state lines. Well, moving people. I'm sorry, across state lines for the purpose of prostitution. They were wire fraud charges, and it was all kinds of shit. You know, they threw the kitchen sink at the brother, man, trying to get him on that RICO joint. It failed. Like I said, when it failed, they were desperate to do something, so they got him on what they could get him on. The prostitution, as Brother Barry said earlier, if this was a
Epstein.
state case,
No, if this was Epstein,
well,
because think
yeah,
about
okay, but if this
because
was a
Epstein
state
was state.
case,
Epstein
he
was
would
state.
have gotten he would have gotten more time. You're right. I've never heard of a federal prostitution case either, but we got one. You know what I'm saying? We got one, and we're going to see on appeal. I think he will beat the vast majority of that time on appeal. I mean, hell, on appeal, he'll probably walk in a couple of months, if not a couple of weeks, to be honest with you, because
Hey,
this really is absurd.
Lee, I'm a
You know,
victim. You forced me to sleep with Cassie over and over and over again.
look,
You paid me
I'm a victim too,
to jizz on her face,
and I ain't mad.
and,
Cassie fine.
you know, I'm just like, I want people to really. And don't get me wrong, I'm not okaying his domestic violence with the young lady.
Correct.
I'm not even okaying how he got into the relationship with the young lady from the idea of him being her superior and coercing her into a situation. That's not what I'm saying. What
Right.
I'm saying is what they painted the picture as compared to what they delivered. And we're saying he got off like, nah, y'all. Young Thug was able to walk, and we were talking about murders, and we talking about all kinds of shootouts and everything, and that brother's free. I don't know how we go from somebody being able to be involved in killing people being able to walk, and then we say a freak off. This man doing what for orgies with a bunch of consenting adults? Is he a pariah for domestic violence? Yeah, but he's not being charged for domestic violence federally on none of this. So that's my only take on it. The other side of it too is, remember, vote or die. That means if Diddy was out next year, guess what Diddy could have did? He could have
Yeah.
put money. Where could Diddy to save face? You know how you do your rebound. Now I got to get out here, but I still got my checkbook. Guess what I do? I can put money into the good gracious of people's hands to do what? Campaign. Well, if I knock him out for 50 months, guess what he don't get to do?
Help people campaign.
So to me,
Help turn young people out.
I think that vote or die thing, I think that's what it was about. Did he openly saying that he defied Trump? Did he openly saying these things? And we need to start checking the political affiliations of not only these prosecutors, but also these judges, because that does matter. And the Trump administration is showing us that they are willing to go after their enemies. Once again, y'all, I don't like Diddy. Not a Diddy fan. And I do believe Diddy has something to do with the plot to kill Tupac and Suge Knight. I believe that. But I also believe that if you allow a brother to be mischarged and we okay it because we don't like him, then that opens the door for the rest of us to be mischarged. And that's all they need. All you need in the legal world is you just need one case of precedent, and that one case opens it up to everybody else. What Marlon says, his sentence is just long enough to not allow him to get involved in the midterms. Exactly.
You're right. You're
to,
right.
to sideline his money. And notice
Yep.
they asked for $500,000, right? Like he got to pay $500,000 for his time on while he's there. Keep that in mind, y'all. Like think about that. We're gonna lock you up, and for hey Lee, for your own well-being, you pay me $500,000. You can pay her
Because they know they
30
can't put him in general pop. He gonna have to be in solitary without a doubt.
if they send him to a club fed like they
Yeah.
do the politician pedophiles and all of that, then he could be in general pop. And you know what he's gonna find out when he's in general pop? If he's in one of those, he's gonna find out who was really behind coming after him, because that's where they exchange all the secrets. That's where the politicians that they lock up, that's where they go. That's where everybody who got the juice, they sit back and they exchange. This is how you got here. This is how you don't come back. That's what happens. They didn't put Epstein there though. I want to point that out to everybody. They did not put him in a low max. Because they knew what they were going to do to him. And that's just a part of all of this. And it's crazy because, like I said again, I don't want to make Sean Combs into a sympathetic figure for every story that I've heard about his relationship with women. Now, don't get me wrong. You can be a young man and make mistakes, and then you can grow from it. But did he sound like he abused his first baby mama? He sounded like he abused the twins' baby mama. He sounded like he was abusing Cassie. He sounded like an abusive man to women.
He was a shitty ass boyfriend.
But worse, he was a monster, because when you kicking women up on the cars, bro, and you stalking women, he ain't just beating them, he's stalking them. Like that's a next level if he need a bullet in his ass, if ever one. So I don't want to say that I support that, because I do feel like it's one of those things, Rashi, you know this old saying, you might have got your ass whooped, not because of what you did today, but what you did that you didn't get your ass whooped for. Right? So that might be his ass whooping right now is that time. That's the ass whooping he deserved for how he was beating on those women. And we have to keep that in mind too, that he was definitely beating the hell out of women. And I'm not talking about just a slap, not just a punch or a shove. They're
I
talking
think
violently beating women.
he deserved it just for what he did to Farnsworth Bentley. He made a man carry an umbrella over his head as a career. That in itself is criminal. So if nothing else, Farnsworth, I hope you feeling vindicated. Farnsworth, you are safe for the next 40 months, at least 5 months. You're safe for 6 months, Farnsworth. But I think he is the one. I'm so ready for his book, y'all. Please, Bentley, Mr. Farnsworth Bentley, please put the book out.
He's not gonna tell a story because he got caught stealing. He got fired because he got caught stealing. You know, he's married, he's teaching, and he got a whole different life right now. He's not gonna tell that story of how he got caught stealing from J-Lo. That's how he got fired, because they sent one of those one-of-one bags that nobody has to the mailroom, and Farnsworth was supposed to be the person that was collecting the bag, and that bag went missing. And when that bag went missing and they found out who had it, it was him. So that's how he got dismissed. But I will say this though, it's not just Farnsworth. It's the idea of some of the other younger ladies that was a part of the singing groups and some of that stuff that was transpiring.
Yeah, not
You know,
said that, not 702. It was
Danity
something
Kane.
that Danity came. So yeah.
It was a whole lot of drama in that whole camp. You know,
With him
uh,
though, it was always with him though, because you got to remember, Biggie didn't like him either. You got to remember, nobody really was fooling with Puff. Like Puff was one of those guys where he was the evil genius that had the money, that had the connects, but behind his back,
Kanye.
man, listen, and look, him and Kanye got into it. Remember how him and Ye got into it? How Ye was
what was
how
that about?
oh man, when Ye first started tripping out and Diddy said something, and Ye was the one before all this trial stuff started talking about how Diddy was doing his artists and like, yo, you don't want me to start talking about your ass kissing self. So Ye called Diddy out early on too. So I'm just saying to y'all, man, it's just this industry. The industry is really not healthy. It's not conducive. The success of the industry is not conducive for our people, because it's rare that we hear somebody that's a music mogul, movie mogul, that when you peel back all the layers, they're a decent human being. We are really
Except for Ice Cube, who I
Man
saw in
gone.
concert last week.
yeah.
Man
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
I rock with Cube. I rock with Cube. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with that.
Man.
Let me be
You,
clear. Let me put this on record before we transition. I know you got to leave early. Time is buried, and that's what's up. Rodney's not on. I want to get into this peak headset meeting with the top brass before you peel off, so we can have that discussion. And then Rashi, I know you probably got to do something with your
dang, I
granddaughter.
thought
So
we had already talked about that.
well,
I
No,
just got
no,
through
I'm good,
watching
Lee. I
that
gotta wait till
video.
12 o'clock until my son get here before I can go to this
okay,
event. We good. I
all right,
can
that's
watch.
I
cool.
watched the video and it was very poorly crafted. Like the actual speech did not have
Oh, okay.
no, it didn't have no real patriotism to it.
Hmm.
And anytime you got all your generals in one room, that's weird right there.
Very much so.
I don't
Very
think you should
dangerous.
do that. I don't think that's. Then I looked at the sea of pink that was in the general, all that green, pink and green. It ain't nothing but pink and green, pink and green, pink of the white faces and green
It was a
suits,
couple brown specks in there, but not many. I,
pink and
I,
green.
I wanted to bring attention to that because if you didn't see this, family, please go pull that video. To Rashi's point, as a nation, the top heads of our military do not look like us. The top heads of our military overwhelmingly are not even female. There were a few, but they were few, far, and in between. The top heads of our military are not black nor brown. They too were few, far, and in between. Notice there was less cadence and space between that and the women. It was mainly male, it was mainly white. Overwhelmingly, overwhelmingly male and white. Now, I know some folks don't like for their little babies to go in the military. You ain't going there, and you going to war, you going to die. Might need to put some of them in there. Not to die, not to go to war. But in situations like this, we might need some folks that understand what we're going through. A huge part of the commentary was about standards, physical standards, uh, also personal grooming standards, and the like. A lot of these things have changed, and new directives are being given. Shit, seems like weekly, to be honest with you.
But look, Lee,
A number
didn't
of
it
these
feel like,
standards,
hold on, didn't it feel like a manager's meeting? It
yes,
almost felt like we not. I don't think we were supposed to be there, the people,
it's
because
okay.
if the meeting seemed like okay, like when you just come on as the new regional manager, and you have all the store managers show up at the regional manager conference, and then we get to see it on YouTube. It didn't make sense. It's like the meeting he had with them generals it was a standard operating procedure meeting with a little bit of funky bravado patriotism. It wasn't for public consumption.
No, and that's why it should have been an email, but it wasn't that. To your point, and I give you credit for recognizing that, it was extremely dangerous to have all of those folks in one room at the same time. Extremely dangerous. That is 100% a threat to our national security. And for the Secretary of Defense, say that again, the Secretary of Defense to not recognize that, that's another notch, whatever the hell you want to call it, that he's an idiot and an ass. He's an idiot. And for Dum Dum, the orange Cheeto one, to come in there too, that's even more idiotic. First off, this was the least guarded secret that anybody ever had in the world. Everybody and their mama knew these folks were coming before they even got there. That's a problem. Then for the the commander in chief to be there as well, and SecDef, dog, who in the hell is holding the wheel of the cart while the cart is moving?
Jesus holding the wheel. Hey,
Look,
let me tell you why. Can I tell you why that meeting had to happen for us? Because
go ahead.
they didn't clap for him. He had him in some meeting last week, and he came out or whatever, and it was about defense. It was similar to this, but a smaller event where there were quite a few high-ranking officials there. And usually, when he come out, they do the presidential clap, and then anybody did no clap, and he made notice of it that he ain't never came out into a room so silent. And so I believe that they recognize that they may or may not have the affiliations with the military that they thought they did. And so now they went ahead and called a staff meeting in front of us to let us know, uh, you get your fat ass up and iron the back of this uniform, so because we about to get full tilt boogie. I I think it's because they didn't give him no love at a press. That's how petty I think the dude really is. They didn't acknowledge him at a press conference, and so now they staff meeting had to be publicized where they get chastised. Who the hell does 30, 40 years in their job just to show up on the internet and have somebody tell them you didn't got fat? Like that is crazy. That's crazy.
But y'all gotta understand that this is out of the German playbook. This is where they got this from. This is what they did with the Third Reich. This is what Hitler did when he took over the military. He started eliminating the generals and admirals that's not falling in
Yeah.
line. You see
Yep.
who's irritated, who's pissed off by it, and then they're gonna
Yep.
check. They're gonna monitor emails. They're gonna monitor,
Yep. Phone records.
communications, phone records, the whole nine, and then they're gonna get them up out of there so they can get the other people in that they want. Because his last term, what happens was that the generals start speaking out and they start saying that he was a danger to the country and he was a danger to democracy. The generals were saying that the last time. It's a lot different when you don't have the military on board with you. So they have to brainwash the military. That's why they asked him there. That's why they dressed him down. The insults was a test because if you could take the insults, then you're part of the team. But if you pissed off about it and you're saying, man, who is he and who are they to tell us anything, right? Like there's a level of respect that's supposed to be with civilian leadership, and then the on top of those who are serving in the military. They totally broke that. They broke that bond. They broke that relationship. And not only did they break it, they were so disrespectful in the way that they went about doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things that on a consistent basis they violated. The other thing that you want to keep in mind too is this is what happens when you have what they call low budget leadership because they don't really have high quality employees.
Damn.
No, seriously, this is what low budget leadership looks like. Because when you low budget, you really don't understand because you didn't earn it. He didn't earn that position to be over the
Oh,
Secretary of Defense. Like
so
Trump has not
he's a
earned.
DEI hire,
Oh, man,
Tommy.
man, he's the worst type of DEI hire, right? Right? didn't earn it, right? He didn't earn it, right? He did not earn it. And so we understand that about him. We understand that about Trump. We understand how they're running the country and what we have to look at as Americans. And it could be a good thing or a bad thing. The military can sit back and say, yo, hey, nah, we good, homie. We got the guns. Who is you again? Guys can sit back and have that conversation like, yo, if the people nut, then we gonna buck because we see they ain't right. Like that's what you can also cause that too, because you can't mistreat these 5-star generals. Who are you? They've earned their respect. And let's keep it real. Everybody has questions about this president. And I'll say it again. I don't think he will make it past Halloween.
Man,
But I'm being honest with y'all because you got to keep
The
listening
Epstein
to
files. He's
listen
talking about Epstein files.
Epstein files and Epstein files, and then compile it with the conversation of what they're saying about him. Oh,
that
his
it's
mental
just
faculties are not there.
He's not
and
well.
it's
Yeah.
his
The-
congestive heart failure, the
okay,
failure of
okay. You see how they're telling you all this stuff about his health. Why are they talking about his health? Why are they always reporting we haven't seen Trump since Tuesday? Why they tell you they haven't seen Trump since Tuesday? There's been no public appearance of Trump since Tuesday. Why do y'all think that's at? Because that gives cover for everything else that happens afterwards. Because if he wakes up and don't wake up, then they say, well, dang, they've been telling us he was sick. Remember, they were saying what was going on with his head? Remember, they said he had dementia, he's old, he had a congestive heart failure. Come on, man. They're laying the tracks, whether he knows it or not. And the only way they got to do is keep feeding his ego. Tell him he'll get another billion. They're going to make him a real billionaire. He wasn't one before all of this. Now he gets to become a real billionaire. And then they'll open the door. And then guess what? Buddy's going to walk in, JD Vance, right? That's the
Yep.
whole point. So keep this in mind, y'all, as you watch. Now, I'm not saying JD Vance is better than Trump. I think JD Vance is worse.
Worse.
I think he's worse than Trump. And I think with JD Vance, you're going to start seeing the Stephen Miller game book. You're going to see it at play in full fashion. Because what I heard today about New York, when they cut the $180 million from the police force in New York, once the governor of New York got on the call with them and said, hey, how you going to do that to the city of New York? Trump didn't know anything about it, and then he reversed it. So a lot of this stuff is happening, and Trump doesn't know. He's letting them just run it. And so keep that in mind when you hear that information. How you're the president and you don't know that the cuts are being made in your name. What are you doing? What are you spending your time on? Is he hooked up to an IV machine behind the scenes? All right, y'all. I'm just saying. Keep in mind what the
Okay.
Republicans accuse you of. Typically, they
It's the
said
shit they
Joe.
doing, right?
They said Joe had dementia.
and baby, hey man, my son watched that one that debate, baby. When my son watched that debate where he started where Joe went into space and he looked at me and I looked at him and I said, well, he's still a good dude. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's better than the alternative. He's at least a decent person, son. But and he started laughing. I said it wasn't funny. Well, fellas, look. I just want to let you know about my win before y'all finish closing statements. I had a fantastic week this week. We are dealing, if you look at my image here, with cellular models. It was a builder's week. It was maker's week. We had hot glue guns and clay. We had pool noodles and tissue paper and Play-Doh and cakes and candy. It was the children were able to conceive of what a cell is using whatever media they found in my classroom because once again, Thomas, 2 out of 90 parents contributed.
Mhm.
Two. So, but I'm not going there because if you can see, that's my young little lady there, and she did a fantastic job. I just want to let you all know that when I was in the midst of doing this work, I was observed a total of 3 hours by different administrators and people within the state.
Mm.
And I was told that, my children understood the concepts on a level higher than the high schoolers they had observed earlier that week. And I was quite impressed
Mm.
with what I had been able to. And I was actually feeling like I didn't quite do what I was supposed to damn do when I was listening to them talk. But, uh, but apparently other people have recognized. So, I had a win-win week. It was a really good week and of teaching and coaching about the fundamentals of life. And I rarely get to say it now. It was bumpy. I had some stolen candy and a knife went missing. But I'm not, don't, no, no, I'm not going there. I came in with two blades, and I left with one. All right. All right. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
These
This is
motherfuckers making shites to send to Diddy. I mean, what's going on?
apparently, listen, I can't listen. There's a blade missing. That's all I'm, some blade and some candy missing. All right. And I'm going to move on. But even with all those bumps, even with all that, the children of America are ready to be engaged and taught. They are listening. They are paying attention to it. All that's happening around them, including government shutdowns and all that. All right. Unfortunately, Thomas, like you said, it's social media, and we're going to have to tame the beast while we're on it, while we're trying to
No, we
participate
gotta
in it.
cut it. We gotta
We
walk away
have to
from it.
tame. We are it, Thomas.
No, no,
We're
no,
doing
no,
it
no.
right now.
No, no. Hear me, because we were doing this. We can go find we can go find us a radio station to get on. We don't need social media. The idea that we need this is only our dopamine high saying that we need it. We don't need the platforms. Like I'm developing a platform. Don't get me wrong. I am. I want you to buy the watch. Matter of fact, buy one of early subscription today. But I'm saying to you, the way that Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and those guys who were with Trump, who was on that platform, how they are using these platforms is not for the well-being of society. And we have to keep that in mind. They are manipulating minds. They're causing people to commit suicide and other unhealthy things. And Rashi, I was going to tell you, I was approached on Thursday about my speech at the NAACP gala because they were upset that the Minneapolis Teacher Federation didn't like the idea that I pointed out that the damn kids can't read.
Oh, you
Well,
told
can
the
they read?
truth.
And they were saying
Can
that
they read?
they man, listen, they say 47%. That's the state marker. And all I was doing, I said the state, and I just talked about the spelling bee, and I didn't know that I was like calling out the city. I was calling out the whole state.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was told that I'm a reformer. I said, well, goddamn, a spelling bee. That's what they were doing in the 80s when I was in school. I didn't know that was reformer. I thought that was
Where do you think they scripts get they people's scripts? The spelling bee for scripts is a paid shoot. And but here's the problem. Did you look at them spelling bee winners? They not American. It's Sundraham Sudaramdabam.
Yeah, and
He
them.
wins that in them. It makes sometimes it's ula 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 na na na. Sometimes he'll get in, but Lakeisha, Lakeisha ain't won that shit in about 5 years. She did. One of them did.
Since the
Lakeisha
kill
running
and the
like
bee.
said, look, it was a Lakeisha that ran, but they tried to put her on top of a statue because she had won, because they knew that foreign nationals win American titles like that,
100%.
So,
Yeah, yeah, no,
but it
100%.
was a good week. And then the last thing I wish y'all would talk about is that statue of Trump and Epstein that they snatched down. And did you see that? Did y'all
In
check
DC.
that
Oh yeah, when they try
in
to say that
DC?
their permit wasn't good, even though it was good.
Man, they erected a whole statue, and then I
I
think
didn't
it
see
did
that.
it.
I missed that one.
For
Come
National
on,
Best Friends Day.
for okay, okay, Lee, come on, tell him, Thomas, tell him.
It was hilarious. And they look, once again, breaking the law. These people had a permit. They had every right to put that statue up, but they made them snatch that statue down ASAP. It wasn't up no more than 48 hours.
Okay. Oh, I see it. I see it now.
Yeah.
And I thought it was quite tasteful. Why would they snatch it? That wasn't untasteful.
Hold on. It said I got breaking news saying the Trump Epstein statue is back on the National Mall days
Stop
after
it.
its abrupt removal.
They cut that thing up. They chopped the head off of one of them and showed the internal. It was dismembered. They ain't put that unless they made two,
Hey,
which I
Rashi,
would have made
it's the
five.
student with the two headphone sets. Oh, you took one, but I got an extra
But I
pair.
got
That's
a
it. That's it.
man,
'Cause I knew you was crip
man.
ball, and I had one in the pocket
I
just in
look.
case you
I had a
tried some
motherfucker
bull
take
crap
the
like
hoodie
that.
off, and he had a thinner hoodie up under the big hoodie. You bastard! And I said, take that hoodie off. He did, but it was a thinner hoodie. So,
Um, hold on.
so
Somebody got in. Zach got it. Okay, Zach is gone. I wasn't sure if Zach wanted to say something or not, but that's cool. All right.
how did Zach get in?
Yeah, that's a good question.
No,
That's a good
for
question. Not
real.
sure.
Because unless he got access to our
Yeah, who shares the back? Yeah, somebody got to share the back line.
Yeah, for real, right?
right. How does Zach come here,
Hey,
Zach?
didn't
Zach, come
they
back.
say? And we said the whole damn show. If they want you, they gonna get you. They coming to get
That's true.
us.
Now they used to just call in and we would have to hey Thomas back in the day they would them MAGA would call in and we were so kind we would let them talk, because we would broadcast the number.
That's
Right.
it.
And then we'd be listening about and I said they can't do more than 3 to 5 seconds. But one day, somebody got us, bro. He had us listening to him for almost 4 minutes before we figured out, boy, get your motherfucking MAGA ass off our damn line. He started out with, hey, peace and blessings, brother and sister. And I just want to, and we was like, hell yeah, peace and blessings, brother. And then, and if we could just get these dirty niggers out of, oh, damn, here you go. Had us, I said,
It happened,
damn.
true, y'all. It happened. It happened.
Dang, I was like, dang, but I don't know how. This is supposed to be more secure. It is the line that is given as per host. So
Oh
how
my
does
God.
one jump in on a secure line? See to the military with what you call it,
There you go.
low budget ass leadership over at StreamYard. Y'all quit sharing our data in with the robots. StreamYard, protect the data. StreamYard. All right,
Well,
fellas, as you
Oh
absolutely right. My
my
granddaughter is here, and I'm finna go run her around in the park while I grade papers.
all right, that's
Cause
what's up.
it is grading season, and people want to know why can't Johnny read? And I'm gonna have to show them Johnny's work. I gotta show them Johnny's work. Now, do you know, Thomas? They make me do a photocopy of all work that equals failure.
Really?
I'm supposed to even photocopy an undone sheet of paper. Say if I gave them work and they didn't do it, I got to
Yeah.
photocopy that and add it as a part of their portfolio in an email to show why they have an F.
Hey, Rashi, if you, I don't know if you ever used this tactic before, but try to see if it works. Right? When you're grading papers, instead of marking what's wrong, give them the points for what's right. Like
Okay.
don't red ink it.
Don't red ink it.
Don't red ink it. Mark the ones that they got right. So if they got 3 right, just put +3.
Okay.
Right?
Let's
And
try
then
it.
tell them to go back and try the other ones because what I've learned is by doing that versus putting the negative, hey, it's 30 questions, you didn't fail 27 of them, -27. Like the +3 gives them something to build off of. And so we got 3 right. Okay, let's figure out how you got them 3. And now let's go back and go over these other 27.
All right.
Even
It'll
though it's
make it
still,
easy math too. Let's do it. It's
yeah,
easier math. Let's do it.
yep. So yeah,
All
try
right.
that.
All right. I'll give it a try now. All right. Well, fellas, please. It has been a wonder. You know how y'all do. And I don't know why I be missing Mr. Rodney so bad, but do please talk to him for me, Lee, and say hi.
Rodney was he had an all-nighter last
Yeah,
night,
for
man.
real.
Yeah.
Okay,
He
he's a
did.
good looking man. You know what I'm saying? So
No,
y'all
no,
have
no, not like that. He
bye,
had
y'all.
he had an event to go to early in the day that just carried low longer, so that's what
Mhm.
it's about. But bro, we got 5 minutes left roughly, so we can wrap.
I got some
Unless
good
you got something
news.
to get into, huh?
I got two things I want to say real quick.
Go for it.
First thing is that when you come back this way, I found a studio that I may actually do business for the app with right around the corner from my crib. That's
Okay.
black owned and it's professionally set. Like, yo, they have a next level podcast studio.
Okay.
the guy who owns it and his wife's a former news anchor here, and then
Okay.
he's a former police officer slash FBI agent. So
Awesome.
we had an
Awesome.
interesting conversation about the watch.
You said FBI agent. Oh,
Hey, listen, man, he support everything I'm doing with the watch. He was like,
all
listen,
right, that's
the
what's up.
data, like, yo. But with that being said, I want everybody to understand if you go to www.jointhewatch app today, you can purchase an early subscription, whether you watching live or watching later. You can win a chance to win a date with Glam Life Kim. I'm trying to get Lee to enter into the contest. I want Lee to win. I want other people. And listen, women can win too. She said, hey, if women enter, she want, hey, sit down, let's talk about business. She can help your business grow. Whatever it is, she is a big media personality. She's big with marketing, and she's known for accounting too. So you don't have to think about it in a love interest. But if you need love, hey, listen, there you go. But if you just want to have a good conversation and figure out a way to grow your brand and do your marketing, hey, join the watch for $49.99. It's a good cost, and you still end up with one share of ownership inside of the business, which is worth $300. So it's a good time, and we'll fly her out to your town. So you don't have to come to her. She'll come to you. And when she comes to you, you can pick the restaurant up to $500 for the meal we'll cover. So, hey, join the watch today. www.jointhewatchapp.com.
That's what's up, man. Thank you for your time, family. For those listen. I keep saying listen. I said that for 13 years. It's hard to break. For those watching us live or later, please follow us on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Uh, you will not be disappointed. Sorry to miss Rodney this morning. Always a pleasure having that other perspective in as well. But it is what it is. You all, please. I don't know where you are, but it's still warm here in Georgia. So if you can get outside and enjoy it, if not, then be safe in whatever you're doing. Thank you all for taking a look in on us. And as we always say about this time, we love you and the damn thing you can do about it. Until next week, family. Peace.